Okay, learning goal 5. We in the last unit we talked about converting metric measurements. This time we are going to convert standard measurement, which is what we use in the United States. So this is actually harder. There's no real rhyme or reason to this, but it's a little easier for us just because we use it every day. But yeah, so this one is a little bit weird. So we have a couple little pictures to help you figure them out. So these are some of our measurements in standard. So we have gallons, Mr. Gallon, and he has 4 quarts equal 1 gallon. So in this case, you can see his 4 arms if that helps you remember. And then each quart is made up of 2 pints. So 2 pints are equal to 1 quart, or 8 pints are equal to 1 gallon. And each pint has 2 cups. So there's 4 cups in a quart and 16 cups in a gallon. So if you were to empty out your entire gallon of milk at home into a bowl and scoop them 1 cup at a time back in, you would have 16. Not that you would ever want to do that, but
I've never done that before.
Yeah, no, not so much. This is just another way to think of it. If we have our big gallon here, there's 4 quarts within it, and within each quart is 2 pints, and within each pint there's 2 little cups. So just a couple visuals to help you, and you don't necessarily have to write these ones down. This next one that's coming up I think would be really easy to jot down, which looks like this. It's not quite as pretty, but it's very easy to write in your journal. So we've got, if you were to think of like up here, this would be like 1 whole gallon. And in 1 gallon, and you're going to want to either draw this in or write these in. You can pick one or the other. If you would rather do the picture or the words, doesn't matter. So we've got our 1 gallon is equal to 2 half gallons, which is equal to 4 quarts. And this is a lot like the fractions that we were just studying, which is equal to 8 pints, which is equal to 16 cups. So again, one or the other, and you're going to want to use this when we get into the actual solving of some problems that go with them. Oh, this one's
all right, so now that you have some notes, that's really going to help you out, and we'll do a couple together. But looking here, now we have to think about converting. So let's say I had 4 cups, but I want to make that equivalent to a certain number of quarts. So I'm going to look here and think about, I have 4 cups, that is equal to 1 quart. And once again, sometimes we have little cheat sheets. You have your notes to help you too. That's perfectly fine, because like we were saying before, there's not really rhyme or reason. You can't just like multiply by tens
and even on
or
your
move
test,
a decimal.
Yeah, even on your test, I'm certainly not going to mark them wrong if they quick jot out a little gallon, man. I mean, whatever you need to do to remember, it's fine by me.
Definitely. So here, this one might be a little bit easier because we're thinking of our gallon man, or our big old gallon, and then how many pints does 1 gallon have? So we're going to think here 1 gallon would be equal to our 8 pints. And then one more. We sort of referred back to it before, so maybe thinking about, oh yeah, if I wanted to pour out a whole gallon of milk and put how many cups back into it, we were talking about that you would have
Don't do
16.
that. Your parents will not be happy.
I'm picturing a big mess.
Yeah.
So anyway, once again, we're referring back to our notes to help us, and that's completely fine. So now what you can do is take a moment to think about your cups and how many pints would that be? So pause and try that one a moment, and then we'll share the answer. And then take a moment. This one's a little bit different though. Instead of just 1 gallon, now you have 3 gallons. So think about that, and then how many quarts would you have in that case? All right, so now that you have truly paused and at least attempted these, we're going to share those answers. If you have 6 cups, how many pints would that be then? That would be 3 pints then. And so if I looked over here, I see at least that 2 cups would give me 1 pint. So I was just thinking in my head that 2 times 3 equals 6 cups, so 1 times 3 would equal 3 pints. That's how I sort of was thinking along those lines. And now once again, if I had 1 gallon, you might want to think about, well, 1 gallon, I have 4 quarts. And so if I have 3 gallons, that would give me 12 quarts. So warming up to this, now
So
we're going to think about... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
That was all capacity.
Yes.
So now we're going to talk about weight. So capacity, again, if you remember, was all the liquid measurement stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Now we're talking weight. So in customary units of weight, you think about when you get on the scale and weigh yourself, you weigh yourself in pounds, right?
Yeah.
Now, when you were a baby, if you go home and ask your parents, like, how much did I weigh when I was born, chances are it's not going to be a flat, you weighed 7 pounds. It's going to be 7 pounds, 8 ounces or something. So the ounces are actually a little bit smaller breakdown within the pound, which you don't, once you're bigger, you don't weigh yourself in that. But when you're little, every little ounce counts. So the conversion for that, there are actually 16 ounces in 1 pound. Like there were 16 cups in 1 gallon, there are 16 ounces in 1 pound. And so this is if you're going a little bit smaller and you need to get really specific. If you're going bigger, measuring something that weighs a lot, like an elephant, you would be talking about tons. So 1 ton is actually 2,000 pounds. So these are the conversions you'll need to know for you. The weight, there's only 2. So that makes it a little easier. So I will do 2 first, and then you will get a chance to try them, and I will go through the answers. So if I have 5 tons, how many pounds do I have? So if 1 ton equals 2,000 pounds, and 5 tons, I would just multiply 2,000 times 5 would equal 10,000 pounds. So again, you're thinking similar to what Mrs. Van Dam went over in the last one, just thinking, well, like this times this, then I would also multiply the answer. So this time, if I have 32 ounces, so again, 16 ounces are in a pound, and I have 32 ounces, I want to know how many pounds is that. I would take this 32, and it ends up being 2 pounds, because 2 times 16 gives you 32. So here are our 2 that I'm going to give you. Now I want you to try these 2 similar problems, and then I will go over them. So pause it, try them, and then we will come back and do them together. So the first one, you have 3 pounds, and I want to know how many ounces. So this one, you're going this way. So you're going to multiply. If I have 3 pounds, 1 pound is 16, then 3 pounds would be 16 times 3, which is 36. And the next one, 4 tons equals how many pounds? So if I have 4 tons, I have times 2,000 pounds, I would get 8,000 pounds. That is a lot.
And I was just thinking, I think I found one more little mistake, and someone might have noticed that too. Actually, 16 times 3, I believe, is...
Not 36.
No.
I was thinking that. I'm like, oh, I don't know if that one's right.
It might be closer to around 48, I believe.
Yeah. Whoops.
So, sorry
Fix
about that one.
Fix that. Hopefully you caught our mistake. It is not 36, it is 48. And if you write 36 on your paper, we're going to know you weren't really listening. All right, now your turn.
All right, so we have another version of Gallon Guy. He looks sort of like a little superhero or something. But you are going to try these 4, and you want to make sure your calculations are correct. So we have 2 gallons equals how many quarts? Once again, please number them and write them all out, like 2 gallons equals blank quarts, and you'll have an answer here. It'll just be easier when you're discussing in your groups. Then you're going to think about for number 2, 3 quarts equals how many pints? And for number 3, now we're getting back to our weight, so 6,000 pounds equals how many tons? And then for number 4, 3 pounds equals how many ounces? Just make sure you have all your notes in your journal.
Yep.
And that will truly help you, especially in this case, with all those crazy calculations.
Yep.
Good luck.